All right, traders. This is Christian from Tribeca Trade Group, and just a quick midday recap of today's action. It's Wednesday, May 8th. The reason why is we are doing a member webinar after the close today, right around 5:30. So I will not be doing an end of day update, but just a couple quick thoughts that I wanted to share. A little bit of thinking ahead and today's price actions. Of today's price action, it seems like the markets are just maybe not digestion mode, but they are waiting for new information, right? I mean, it doesn't look like anything is as of this moment is breaking down. But I think right now we're just in a very headline-driven market. You could see that we had this spike up on, a positive trade headline and then a move back on a negative trade headline. So right now, stocks are just kind of in a waiting period, and it's very much a choppy day on our hands. And even notice as we see the S&P coming up a little bit, but notice how the price action is all inside value. I see that in a lot of stocks. Just looking through what I generally do in the morning and at night too is just set alerts on some names where I think are pretty good pivot areas. One of which I'm in a little bit, and I'm always okay sharing what trades I do, but I'm in a little bit of a weekly call spread in Amazon. Also a couple other names that I'm watching. You can see Amazon is trying to get through and out of value area, but Microsoft is also trying to move through value. So, but I see a lot of this, right? Names, even when this so-called positive trade headline came out, we really didn't go too far. Most names, anyway, they're really kind of locked inside value for the day. So they just may need a little bit of information. And again, it's just one day, so it's one of these days where you just kind of have to be patient. I do see that another trade that I added to. So what my strategy for the day is. When everything goes down like it did yesterday, is to kind of look for some names that have been strong, quality names. Again, I'll say it again: quality names, really good. Names that had strong earnings, like Mastercard and Microsoft and Amazon as well. That are just checking back to support. Those are good areas that I think are good to trade against. And obviously, if they don't hold support, then you have to get out of them. But I think they're good opportunities to have a little bit of a pullback in names, again, that are less trade sensitive. Again, I don't like to go into the eye of the storm and go into Chinese equities unless you really want the exposure of trade headlines, right? If something positive is going to happen, probably the China internet names, the industrials, the semiconductors, they're probably going to be the most sensitive. So if you want that risk, then by all means, BABA, JD, KWeb, those are things to think about. But if you kind of want to shy away from that and just focus on quality stuff, I'm looking more at not Macy's, Mastercard, Amazon, and a few other names like PayPal is another one too that I'm looking at. Also, think about the VIX is right now is a 19. This is higher than we've been in the last couple months. So option prices are going to react a little bit different, right? In my opinion, and again, my videos are always for information purposes only, not giving out advice. But you always want to be kind of a step ahead a little bit, or have forward thinking. If you are doing what I'm doing, right, and positioning, trying to buy some things that you think are good spots to possibly purchase. You want to think about what's going to happen with option volatility, right? So if what happens when the VIX goes up, right? That means that option prices are elevated; they become more expensive. What happens when volatility comes out? So if the market volatility comes out and the market goes up, your option prices will actually come down a little bit. And that's called vol crush, right? So if the VIX happens to drop back down, if this, again, these are all scenarios that you want to think about. I don't know what's going to happen with the trade headlines and so forth, which we're eclipsed in right now. But let's say that we do drop back down to, let's say, back to a 15 VIX, and you purchase calls today. What do you think is going to happen to that option price if all things being equal and the stock price doesn't move? It's going to drop. So one way that I minimize that, and going back to what we experienced back in December, I did a lot more stock trading because you don't have to worry about the optionality and the vol crush there. You also don't have to you could also do call spreads or put spreads, right? That minimizes when you're buying one call and selling another. That neutralizes a little bit of the vol crush, right? So that's another way to play it. Again, always making adjustments, especially if if you're trading stock, that's one thing, and there's maybe less adjustments that you need to make. But if you're trading options, there's things that you need to think about. I believe anyway that what's going to happen with volatility. If you do get what you're looking for and volatility comes in, what's going to happen to your option prices, right? So just something to think about. And then just one final, and again, same thing with for what I'm doing today, just scaling, right? I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows with this trade deal, but I think some things are at attractive prices for the stocks that I've mentioned already. So what do? I kind of scale in a little bit. I never really go, especially when we've got something like in front of us like Thursday and Friday with this trade deal, which we don't know how we're going to look at the end of it. Uh, you put things on for a trade, but you don't want to get overexposed. And especially if you're trading options, and on the shorter term nature of them, if that's what you're doing, you have to be comfortable with losing all that premium, right? I mean, that's just the game that you're playing if you're playing short-term options. So that's it for today's video. We are doing a value area. Somebody asked me about SPY, which is really good. Who recently purchased the indicator from us, but they're talking about a virgin point of control down here. But just keep in mind, this does not become active until we actually break the value area, right? So right now we're in range, and you just kind of have to wait to see which way we go, up or down. If we hold, right now we're trying to hold support of 28.78. If that does break, you've got the 50-day moving average as support. If that breaks, then yeah, I would be looking at this virgin point of control as the next downward place that we could possibly go. But right now, don't currently have to worry about that because we are trading inside value for the time being. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day.